Yo, what's happening? What's happening? The boys back with the goods finally and everything. And what's the matter? Dude, where have you been? What took you so long? We've been trying to make this video for a hot minute now. What happened? My bad, dog. Look, I had things going on. Life hit me, and I got a lot of stuff that just happened. But I had to make sure I get right with Jesus first before I did another one. Hey, look, I'm down with that. You guys make sure you take care of yourself first, as always. Yeah, for real, you know. Hey, Jesus comes first, you know what I'm saying? Now, by the way, I got the goods though. Finally, we can show everybody what we got over the past month. You want to take a look and see what we got before we show the rest of them? Heck yeah, I'm excited to see what we got this time. What we get? Yeah. Dude, this is an awesome haul. Yeah. Yeah, you like that, huh? Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. I'm pretty sure they're going to love this one. They're going to see all the good stuff we got this time around. For real, I'm sure they're going to love this. And without further ado, this is another episode of The King's Treasure. Let's get it going. Now, the first game I wanted to show you guys is a game that's pretty much not considered old school due to the fact that it was on the Wii U, and of course with the Wii U shop officially shut down, these games are going to be jumping in price in the sense of the physicals. Now, this game here is called Mario Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, Sochi 2014. Now, if you've ever played any of the other Mario Sonic Winter Games, or even just the Olympic Games in general, you're pretty much going to know what you're going to jump into in this one. And let me tell you something. These games are absolutely just fun to play with your friends, family members, if you got kids. Look, they're really just fun. And in each game that you get, there's a bunch of different events in every last one of them. Like this one has skiing, you got snowboarding, ice hockey, curling, and just so many others. Now, I've owned majority of the Sonic and Mario Olympic games, and they're really fun to collect and start getting, and just the overall just fun party games if you just like to have them. Now, this particular one I feel is gonna probably jump up in price due to the fact that it is a Wii U game, and let me tell you something, this is the time to get them. So try to see if you can find yourself a physical copy in the near future. But other than that, check out Mario Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games, Sochi 2014. It's a blast to play, and I think a lot of people really enjoy it. Now, moving into the Xbox territory of games that I picked up this go around, this one I kind of been bypassing it for the past couple years due to the fact that, well, it didn't look really something in my texture of games that I like to play, but I decided to give it a try. And this one's called Empire of Sin. This is a strategy role-playing game that was developed by Romero Games and published by Paradox Interactive. Now, this game is launched on all types of different platforms, and if you ever played strategy games similar to like Civilization or Halo Wars, you're pretty much knowing what you're going to be expecting in this one. Now, this game is where you take control of one of several different mob bosses during the time period of the Prohibition era in the 1920s, where some bosses may look like Al Capone or Stephanie Sinclair. And with that, with your boss character, you're going to use your other underlings to take over rival businesses such as clubs and brothels, and even recruit new members to your cause in defending your empire against different bosses through the game. Now, this game didn't do entirely too well when it was released due to a lot of just different issues with the game, but overall, if you like just role-playing strategy games and you want something that's fairly cheap, I would say go ahead and get this one, especially if you like that Prohibition era style of games. Check this one out if you can find it out there somewhere. Another year and another WWE game has been released, and let me tell you something, this is probably the best WWE game to date, period. And not just because it's the latest one. This is called WWE 2K23, and let me tell you something, this game is true to life of what the superstars of the WWE look like. I really have enjoyed the progression and the development of what the WWE games are. If you're a real wrestling fan like your boy here, let me tell you something, this is true simulation of wrestling games, and it's actually still got that arcade feel to it. It's got all your favorite superstars like Kevin Owens, Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Cody Rhodes, and many, many more. And let me tell you something, it looks absolutely amazing and plays amazing. If you haven't played a wrestling game in years, check out WWE 2K23. It's absolutely a banger of a title in wrestling. If you've ever played a game called Castle Crashers from back in the day, this game here is going to give you those vibes all over again. This is called Super Dungeon Bros that I picked up for the Xbox, and it's a roguelike, fast-paced, top-down action dungeon crawler. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Now, this game is where you get to take control of one of 4 different characters, or if you got buddies to play as, you can pick up to all 4 and go do different dungeons in the game to upgrade your character and their weapons. Now, each character also has different personalities that makes it that much more fun. And in this game here, the actual threat meter increases through the dungeon depending on how long you stay in that dungeon. So if you stay in there for 5 minutes compared to maybe 10 minutes, the boss is going to be a little bit different in difficulty. Also, if you're playing in multiplayer mode, the lives pool is shared, so meaning you guys are sharing all the lives at once. So just make sure that you're not always going to be the one dying, otherwise your friends are going to get pretty mad at you for it. This game here is really a lot of fun, and I kind of passed up on it for a few years, and it's pretty old because it came back out in 2016, but I was happy to finally get into my collection. And let me tell you something, it's a whole lot of fun. I love my dungeon crawlers, and this one just has so much color to it. If you like them, go ahead and check this one out if you can find yourself a copy. This last Xbox game I picked up this go around is a recently new title that I really didn't know anything about until I saw the case artwork, and this is called Scars Above. This is a sci-fi third-person action-adventure shooter combining a really overcoming difficulty, a compelling story set in a mysterious alien world to explore. Now, this game is where you take control of the character by the name of Kat, who is an astronaut and a scientist, but not much of a soldier, but she's gonna have to pick up a gun in order to survive. And you're gonna be going against different monsters and different aliens and all kinds of different obstacles just to see exactly what's going on this planet. In this game here, let me tell you something, it's actually pretty doggone looking cool. I think it's actually a game that I think a lot of people will really enjoy if you just give it a chance, especially since it is a fairly new IP that a lot of people don't really know much about. And like I said, it was under my radar, so I didn't know anything about this game until I just happened to see it. Check out Scars Above if you get a chance to, and if you like those sci-fi horror style games that pretty much I would say give or take like Alien, check this one out. I think you're gonna really enjoy it if you get a chance. Moving into the PlayStation territory, and this game is something that I've been longing to get into my collection. I finally was able to get it physically. This is called Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and this game came out back in 2013, and the graphics do show for it. It's a journey of telling of 2 young brothers finding a cure for their father's illness. And let me tell you something, this game has a heavy narrative, and the artistry of the game just made it that much better, and it was actually critically acclaimed for all these years. It's a very unique game, and it will tug your heart in so many different ways. And let me tell you something, on this game here, I've been longing to get this into my collection. I can't wait to get my hands to actually finally playing it, and I'm very excited to finally see how this game will play out and see where my emotions will take me. Check out Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons if you can ever find it for yourself. This next game I'm showing you guys is for all the RPG anime fans out there in the world. And this is called Atelier Ryza 3. I'm not going to say the rest of it because it's a long title. But nonetheless, this is the 24th main entry into the Atelier series. And let me tell you something. The fact that it has 24 main games is absolutely insane. This is the 3rd and final game into the secret storyline of games for Ryza. And if you played the other 2, you're pretty much knowing where you're going to be going in this game. It has both real-time strategy, RPG elements, and also turn-based, which pretty much is a great taste, especially with Gus and Koei Tecmo working together like they always do. They give you such a great masterpiece of a game. If you played the other 2 games, you know exactly where this game is going to be heading in the sense of story and also the character development, and the graphics are just phenomenal. Especially for those anime fans out there, you're going to enjoy this. It takes control of the character where you have 11 different characters, of course, and there's also going to be returning characters as well coming into this. And let me tell you something, if you like the original 2 games that came out, you're going to enjoy this one just as much as those. Check out Atelier Ryza 3 if you get a chance to play it. So NIS releases games in so many different ways, and I've really enjoyed the NIS site for all my different games, and the stuff that they put out is absolutely great. And this is no exception to that rule. This is called Void Terrarium, and it's a caretaking dungeon RPG set into the contaminated world into ruins that is starring Toriko, the last surviving human, and Robbie the robot, who is her actual guardian. Now, Toriko is basically this last human that is suffering from this illness that you, the Robbie the robot, have to go out and search for different things in order, like resources, materials, food, in order to keep her alive. And the fact that you're making sure that she doesn't die from the toxins of the atmosphere, it just makes it that much harder because, well, you gotta make sure you protect her and also save her from dying. So she suffers from this illness in this game that no one knows exactly what's going on, and her body is slowly deteriorating, and you have to find different resources in order to keep her alive. Like, you have to find the food, or you have to find different things in order to protect her from the contaminated world that surrounds her. So you're building this terrarium around her as you gather in different tools and different resources in order to figure out exactly why she's dying and why this world has also become completely contaminated. This game is the second one, so there is a first game that I do recommend you playing before you jump into this one. And I actually have the first one as well, and I've kind of enjoyed it. I need to finish it as well, but this is the second game, so you might want to jump into that one before you get into this one. And you'll meet different characters along the way, and you're going to be fighting different bosses, different enemies, and it's really a cool looking game. And I love NIS just as much as the next person, and NIS does a great job with all of their games. If you want something cute that has this crazy dark undertone story but has maybe something for you that will tug your heartstrings a little bit, check out Boy Terrarium 2. Alright, so being a big JRPG fan, there was no way I was going to skip out on getting this game into my collection, especially since there was an actual physical collector's edition being made for it as well. This is called The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure. Now, this game was actually released way back in 2011 for the PlayStation Portable system, only in Japan. So the US never saw this game come out for us, but we're finally getting our hands for it for modern day consoles. And it looks absolutely amazing. I think it looks just great. I mean, just great. And I love the feel and look of it. And if you ever play a Legend of Heroes games, you're pretty much knowing what you're going to get into. This game takes place months after the events of Trails from Zero, which is another Legend of Heroes game that you should check out. If you haven't played that one yet, check that game out before you play this one. And it's also part of the Cross Belt arc, and it's the final game in the series of those particular arc of games. Now, you take control of the character by the name of Lord, who recruits these different characters, and you're going to be leveling them up, have these crazy turn-based combats, and let me tell you, the gameplay looks awesome. The way the characters look, the way the animation is, the colors, the feel, and the character development just makes it that much better. And of course, because it's a JRPG game, you know good and doggone well there's going to be some anime cutscenes somewhere in it. But it makes the game that much more interactive and that much making you feel more immersed into the game. If you've never played a Legends Hero game, let me tell you, get into these games. They're absolutely stellar. I love them. Like I said, this is the sequel to the game called Trails from Zero, so check that one out first before you get your hands into this one. But this is the sequel. Check out Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure. Okay, so you know I had to get this game into my collection. And if you're not even just a horror fan or a video game guy yourself, this is just a game you have to play. This is called Resident Evil 4. Now, of course, this is Resident Evil 4 and its highly regarded remake that we have been waiting for such a long time. And I mean, of course, if you knew that, well, if Resident Evil 2 and 3 got remakes, you knew number 4 was going to get one for sure. This is considered one of the highest, if not the best, Resident Evil game ever made. This game has been released in a couple different forms, with the re-release back on the PlayStation 4, and this game was also on the GameCube and the PS2, and I think even the Wii had a re-release as well for it. This is one of the highly rated Resident Evils that we've ever had, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never played Resident Evil in my life, so don't attack me in the comments section. I know it's crazy. Look, I wasn't a huge horror fan for years until recently. Now, Resident Evil 4 has been such a long-awaited game for a lot of different people, and your boy got the Resident Evil 4 Collector's Edition, which was scarce beyond belief. I mean, I had such a hard time making sure I could secure my copy for this, and to get the Collector's Edition, I knew it was going to be something crazy expensive because, well, I kind of kicked myself in the butt for not getting the other two. But Resident Evil, look, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a horror fan, check out Resident Evil 4. This game right here is for the Hot Wheels fans out there, or even if you're just a racing fan. This is called Hot Wheels Rift Rally, and this is a mixed reality racing game that allows you to play in virtual reality mode with this physical car that has a camera on the top of it. You can make your own tracks in your house. You can just put anything you want together and make your own Hot Wheels racetrack. You're going to be battling different monsters, blowing up robots, and just doing a bunch of different challenges. And it's kind of similar to what the Mario Kart Live Circuit game was on the Switch. It's also even on the iPad and the iPhone, but you get to play this on PS4 and PS5. If you've ever liked Hot Wheels and you always wanted to step up your game into the Hot Wheels world, check out Hot Wheels Rift Rally. And I bought this game literally for myself, but I did have my brother in mind in some type of way as well because he loves Hot Wheels. Check this game out. It does come in a big box and it comes with this big car with it. And if you get the collector's edition like myself, you actually get a nice special Hot Wheels along with it. Check out Hot Wheels Rift Rally. This next game I want to show you guys is actually a limited run release only game that you can find in the physical copy. And it hasn't gotten a retail release just yet, but I think maybe somewhere in the future it will. This is called Undermine, and it's an action adventure roguelike game with few RPG elements towards it in some type of fashion. It's a game where you take control of the character, well, it's a lowly peasant who sets on this journey filled with quests, dungeons, and even just menacing, dangerous creatures to fight against throughout the game. Now, the whole purpose of the game is you're going to be uncovering different secrets such as locations, different dungeons, and looking for treasure and gold and such like that of the riches of the world. But you're going to be fighting a lot of different enemies in order to make sure you get what you want out of this game. And there's character progression. You're going to be leveling up your different characters. You exchange resources for level ups or character development in some type of fashion. And it has the roguelike style mechanics. So guess what? If you die, you can lose a lot of your stuff. So guess what? Make sure you got the patience to play this game. I love my roguelike games and I love big boss battles, which absolutely just make the game that much more challenging and that much more fun. If you get a chance to find a copy of Undermine, I highly recommend finding one and giving it a chance. And I really think if you're into those roguelike games, just make sure you got the patience for it. Alright, so for the Souls fans out there, if you want a fast-paced and brutally challenging game, Elder Souls is for you, and it gives us unique Souls-like experience like there's nobody else's business. In the final act of vengeance on the world, the soul gods just decided to unleash just desolation upon the world, and it's up to you to fight off the demons and the different gods that you'll be facing in this game. This is a boss rush game, so there's no standard enemies, no leveling up just against a whole bunch of different enemies that you can fight against before you hit the boss. This game will just make you rage quit like there's nobody's business. And let me tell you, when I tried it, I was getting upset. But it does have its fun elements to it. Crazy boss battles, leveling up your character, and just a cool aesthetic dark feel to it. If you guys want some Souls-like style gameplay and just difficulty, check out Elder Souls. Now, your boy isn't the biggest baseball fan in the world, and I do enjoy baseball when I go at least to a game or even play a baseball game when I can get one. So I decided to give Little League World Series Baseball 2022 a chance, and I wasn't too disappointed with it. It actually gives that real nostalgia feeling if you ever played a game called Backyard Baseball that was on the PC years ago and even jumped onto the PS1 and PS2 era. Those games were just a whole lot of fun, and they had those real comedic style of gameplay with the kids and the different fields you can play on and all the crazy superpowers like big bats or slow down time, throw the slowest baseball you can, or even do a superpower slide. Well, this pretty much will fill that nostalgia need if you ever played those. And even for those who've never played a baseball game or want a baseball game for the Switch to have just some arcade fun to it, I would really give this one at least a chance to check it out and see. This game is kind of hard to find, I've noticed, for some oddball reason, because I have really a hard time looking for this one. But if you like baseball games, or even if you just want something fun to play with the kids, if you have kids, I would check out Little League World Series Baseball 2022, and I think you guys would really seem to like it. Now, this next game I'm showing you guys is for all you fighting game fans out there, and if you've never heard of this game before, you're gonna find out today. This is called Skullgirls Second Encore that I got for the Switch, and this has all of the DLC content that has ever been released for the game itself. This is a fairly old game. This came out way back in the day, like in 2012 when it was on the Xbox Live Arcade, but it still holds up to this very day as a pretty decent fighting game. If you ever play a game like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Capcom vs. SNK 2, it gives that real different tag team based aesthetic, combat style, and just the overall graphics and gameplay that it has, but it has some different little twists to it as well. I used to play this all the time back in the day when the Xbox Live Arcade was like the biggest thing in the world for Xbox 360, but now that the fact that we finally getting physical copies of it and with all the DLC finally been released, it's a fighting game that I think deserves a lot of love, and unfortunately it doesn't get too much nowadays because it's kind of old and there's a lot of other fighting games out there that are getting so much love. But if you ever get a good fighting game and you want something that just has some real cool aesthetic to it, check out Skullgirls. I think you guys are really going to get yourself into something if you find this one. Now, this next game I'm showing you guys is actually something I've been waiting to get my hands on for such a long time when I initially saw the trailer for it, and I don't think it's going to disappoint those who are into the action role-playing scene. This is called Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, and this was actually a digital-only game, but has now finally got a physical release back in 2023, and this is actually considered the spiritual successor to the Suikoden series. And this is actually going to be a series of games down the line. There's also another one called 100 Heroes that's going to be coming out fairly soon. But this was a Kickstarter game that decided to lean in towards that. Now, the reason why this is considered a Suikoden successor is due to the fact as well, because the Suikoden original developers decided to join together and make this new series of games. And I'm actually pretty excited to hear that they decided to bring something with Suikoden involved into it. In this game, you'll take control of a teenage girl by the name of CJ who arrives in this town searching for adventure and treasure, and she'll meet different characters along her journey and recruit them to her party. Now, you get to switch between the different characters as you recruit them, and they learn different, moves and abilities and leveling them up as you go through the game. And of course, you'll get these different types of stamps for different characters because of CJ's services. It's very interesting in the way of what it is. But it's an ambitious project. I think it's a very ambitious project for them, and the fact that they're trying to really bring back the magic that the Suikoden series gave to us all those years ago back on the older systems, I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it's going to be something that a lot of people who may not know about this series of games that are going to be coming out into the near future, and this first release of it, I think it's going to be something that a lot of people want to keep their eyes on, and especially because of the fact that, if these games do very well, we may even get Suikoden, maybe a new game in the future. Hopefully we'll see what happens. But check out Eiyuden Chronicle. I think it's going to be something you guys will really enjoy if you give it a chance. Another game that I found for the Switch is actually a game I did not know it even existed until I randomly saw it when I was game shopping one day. And it's called Candle: The Power of the Flame. This is a 2D side-scrolling adventure game that really has this dynamic graphic look to it that is so beautifully hand-drawn in so many different ways. And the colors and the graphics of how it looks just kind of intrigued me in some type of way. And I was like, you know what, I'll give this a chance. It's a game where you take control of the character by the name of Teku, or Tiku, whichever way you want to say it exactly, and it spells as T-E-K-U. And it's a young and experienced character who's on his journey to save his friends in this unraveling world that is full of mystery. And of course, I'm a platforming type of guy. I love platformer games, and this one really has this unique aesthetic to it that really just was different than most games I've ever really seen, and it was something that I really did not know I was gonna like at first when I first saw just the cover art. But as I looked at the trailer and I looked at some gameplay footage of it and everything, it really actually had a cool aesthetic that I think I would really enjoy, and I think a lot of people will enjoy as well if you give it a chance, if you can find yourself a copy of it. I know if you go to GameStops or things like that, you may be able to see it somewhere, but I really do recommend giving this platformer a try if you can find it somewhere in the wild. Candle and the Power of the Flame. Now, I wasn't too sure if I was going to like this game when I first saw the gameplay footage for it, and also I wasn't too sure of how the game would actually play because, it's a 3D action shooting game. This is called Little Witch Nobetta, where you take control of the Little Witch, well, named Nobetta, and you're going through this mysterious castle trying to uncover the secrets of what's going on inside of it. Now, the fact that it's actually a shooting game and not a straight up RPG is what really threw me off, because I was like, man, I don't know what this game is, and the fact that it was a shooting game made it that much more interesting and intriguing for me to play and see how this game would look. Now, it does have this crazy Japanese art style, but the battles make it that much more just crazy looking, even though it's kind of a cutesy looking title in the sense of how the actual art style looks. But also make sure you don't underestimate your foes, because you might get caught off guard. Now, there's puzzle solving elements to it, crazy cutscenes. You're going to be doing different physical attacks, and also you're going to be learning different types of magic. And of course, each spell might be different in the way of how you use them and how you charge up the attack before you actually launch it. And the fact that some attacks may be a little bit different, you're going to have to charge up your attacks before you can unleash them to their true potential. This game is where, you know, hey, look, I really wasn't too sure exactly what this was going to be. And I'm actually pretty excited to finally get my hands on it and play it. And I've been enjoying it so far since I started playing it. Now go find yourself a copy of Little Witch Nobetta and enjoy the experience that I've been doing. I mean, come on now, it's Nobetta and she's a cute little witch. I mean, who doesn't like cute little witches? I think nowadays everybody knows the character Bayonetta and her games that she's been in over the years. Well, this one takes a different turn on her approach on how the game will look and feel in the sense of gameplay and also in story. This is called Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. And this game finally came out, and I'm a big Bayonetta fan. And the fact that this game is going into a whole different route of the gameplay style and mechanics and just the overall look and feel, it is something that you may not be used to in the sense of the Bayonetta series, but it does give a fresh outlook on how she becomes Bayonetta. This is her origin story where you take control of her actual character named Cereza, and she has this character, this little doll that's called Cheshire, who's a demon bound inside of a toy. Now you get to control both characters with both of the analog sticks on the Switch, and the fact that you have to toggle both of those characters alongside just fighting different enemies and going about yourself through the game, it makes it that much more interactive. This game, because of the fact that it's Bayonetta, I knew I had to make sure I get my hands on it, and the fact that, of course, we're getting an origin story from what Bayonetta used to be, it's pretty cool that we're finally seeing something like this. If you're a big Bayonetta fan, make sure you check out Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. I think it's a good game that a lot of people are going to get into, especially if you want to become a Bayonetta fan. And wait till you see how she grows up as well. This next game I wanted to show you guys that I picked up was a game I actually almost missed because, well, I didn't know this game even existed in the first place. This is called Model Anomalies, and if you're a JRPG fan, look, right off the rip, I'm gonna tell you right now, just get it because of that sole purpose. But this also does have visual elements, visual novel aspects to it, cel shading graphics, dark undertones, and it's also a detective-based game as well. Now, in this game, you're gonna be taking control of the characters Doe and Graham to investigate the strange anomalies that are in the city of old Shanghai, and it has that neo-futuristic style of it as well, because the game, well, it's a cyberpunk style world but with some old aesthetics to it as well. Now there's these strange anomalies and abominations that are trying to bring the city's downfall to it, and the fact that, like I said, I had no idea this game was even coming out until Nintendo did a direct for it, and I'm glad I was actually managed to find it. And look, I really do love the dark undertones. The characters look awesome, the graphics look amazing, and the colors are just eye-popping for me, especially because I love cel-shaded graphic games. This game, of course, because of the fact that it's a JRPG, I'm going to dive right into it as soon as I get a chance, and let me tell you, the JRPG games are just taking over the world right now. I mean, there's a JRPG for every fan out there. If you can find yourself a copy of Model Anomalies, go ahead and see if you guys will enjoy it, and I'm pretty sure you will, just because, well, if you're like your boy here, JRPGs are right up their alley. The next game I wanted to show you guys is a game that actually comes with two games in one package, and let me tell you, these games will just blow your mind in the sense of color and also pull on your heartstrings a little bit because of the way the story plays out, and it's such a cute, but it also has its dark elements to it. This is Ori the Collection, and it comes with both games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisp. Both of these games are critically acclaimed, and I mean critically acclaimed. These games blew people's minds when they came out, and just the aesthetic, the look, the story, and everything else with both of these games are absolutely just great. I have both of these games on the Xbox One, and I was like, you know what, I want them on the Switch, so I bought it for the Switch, and I'm happy to finally get both of them on the Switch because, well, the game just plays so well on there, and I think that this game deserves to be on my Switch collection. If you're ever going to get a chance to play these games, I highly recommend you guys try to get your hands on both of these games. Even if you can't find the collection, try to get them little by little, one game or the other. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, both of these games are absolutely just amazing. They look awesome, they play amazing, and the story will immerse you into the world like it's nobody's business. I love Ori and the Blind Forest, and I've never got a chance to play Will of the Wisp, but I know sooner or later I'm going to get into it, and because I got it on the Switch, it's going to make it that much better. Give it a chance. I promise you, you're not going to be disappointed. I recommend these games all the way to the day I am gone. But check out Ori, the collection, if you can find your copy of it, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to just immerse yourself into the world. Now, the final game I wanted to show you guys that I picked up this go around is a game that was actually re-released for the Switch that was originally on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And this is called Record of Agaris War. This is a tactical role-playing game that was a collaboration effort between Idea Factory, Red Entertainment, and Compile Heart. And it's it's really cool to see that this game actually was getting a re-release, because I was surprised to even hear that the game even deserved to get one. And not that the game is bad or anything shape or form wise at all, but it's funny that this game is getting a re-release, and you're going to be seeing so many more re-releases as time progresses on. Now, this was the first game in the series, but there are actually 3 other games prior to this one: Record of Agaris War 0, Record of Agaris War 2, and also one called Marriage, or Mirage, I think that's how you say it. But the fact that we're getting this game as a re-release for the Switch is pretty impressive. I'm glad to see it. If you've ever played any strategic role-playing games, you're gonna enjoy this one. And there's a dating sim involved where you get to, build a relationship with different characters, have kids, and overall just make it that much more of a, life-changing experience for you if you like that kind of thing. Now, I was actually able to get the limited edition with this game, and this game comes with so many goodies inside of it when you get the limited edition. But if you're not interested in the limited edition, you can probably more than likely get the physical version somewhere down the line. I would really recommend checking this game out, and hopefully we may see the other ones come out later in the future with ports over. But other than that, check out Record of Agaris War, and I think you guys are really gonna like it. Look, don't act like y'all didn't see that. Just act like y'all didn't see that. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I had got so much stuff from last month, and it was just crazy. The month of March was just absolutely insane. I hope the next month when it comes in, I actually got this video posted up earlier than it is right now. But thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't done so and you're new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. I love all the support you guys give me and everything. And without further ado, the king has spoken. Hey, be blessed, stay true to yourself, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Holla at you.